if you remember, in the last class, we have seen the types of CPU scheduling algorithms. We have found that there are mainly two types of CPU scheduling algorithms primarily. One is known as preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm, and another is known as non-preemptive CPU scheduling algorithms. In the preemptive CPU scheduling algorithms, what we found is that in the preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm, it is like that a particular process is running in the CPU. Now, before completion of this process to the termination, a process can be taken out from the CPU, and some another process can come and join the CPU at that moment. So basically, in the preemptive scheduling, what we can say that we are using some kind of forceful termination, some kind of forceful some kind of force, suppose like to take that process out of the CPU, putting that process to the ready queue, and we are assigning some another process to the CPU. That is in case of preemptive scheduling. Now, in case of non-preemptive scheduling, it is just the reverse. In case of non-preemptive scheduling, what we are doing, if a process come and join the CPU, that process will be there until it's finishing. Until the process is finished, the process will be there in the CPU. Once that process will be finished, that process will be out of the CPU, and some another process will come and join the CPU after that. So that is basically non-preemptive scheduling. So we can say that preemptive scheduling, it is some kind of forceful termination or some kind of force we are applying. But in case of I'm talking about preemptive scheduling, here we are using some force, and in case of non-preemptive scheduling, it is going with the flow of the process. So this was our last class, and we also seen in the last class that under the non-preemptive scheduling, we have started FCFS, that is first come first serve CPU scheduling algorithm, where we have seen that the process which is coming to the system first is going to the CPU first, completing its burst time in the CPU, and finally it is going out of the CPU. Now, to see that those things, we have got few terms, few terminologies like turnaround time, like you can say burst time, BURST, burst time, waiting time, response time, these things. Now, if you remember, we have told you there are few scheduling criteria. Actually, these terminologies are coming under scheduling criteria. So let us discuss these scheduling criteria once again for your better understanding. Under this scheduling criteria, at first there will be arrival time. Under the scheduling criteria, at first there will be arrival time. Now, what is arrival time? Time at which the process arrives in the ready queue. Time at which the process arrives in the ready queue, that is basically the arrival time. Okay, that is basically the arrival time. Next is the completion time. Obviously, completion time means time at which process completes its execution. Jokhon process ta execution complete korche, so that time is basically known as completion time. Next is burst time. I have always told you that burst time, it is also known as service time. It is also known as processor time. So all these are same basically. Sometimes it will be designated as processor time, sometimes it will be designated as bus time, service time. So all are same basically. Bus time means the time required by a process for CPU execution. যেটা খুব বাকি ভাষায় বললে যেটা দাঁড়ায় সেটা হচ্ছে একটা প্রসেস কমপ্লিশনের জন্য কতটা টাইম তার দরকার, একটা প্রসেস কমপ্লিশনের জন্য কতটা টাইম তার দরকার, দ্যাট ইজ দি বাস টাইম। নেক্সট ইজ very vital thing, turn around time. What is turn around time? The time difference between completion time and arrival time for a process. একটা প্রসেস কখন কমপ্লিট হচ্ছে এবং প্রসেসটা সিস্টেমে কখন অ্যারাইভ করেছে, the difference between these two is known as turnaround time. Next, waiting time. Waiting time means the difference between turnaround time and bus time. This waiting time actually indicates how long our process is waiting in ready queue to get the CPU. How long our process is waiting in the ready queue to get CPU. So that is basically waiting time. Another term, another criteria we will get, that is known as response time. Response time means when a process is delivering its first output. When a process is delivering its first output, that is basically response time is. So with these scheduling criterias, we have seen few examples. Now one example was this. There were P1, P2, P3 three processes with their duration 24, 3 and 4. Their order of arrival was 1, 2, 3. That means first P1 has arrived, then P2 and then P3. Though their arrival time is same and that is 0. So when their arrival time is same, in first come first serve, we will follow their order. Even if this order is not mentioned, sometimes this order field will not be mentioned in your question. Then if it is given that arrival time is all same, that could be 0, that could be 1, that could be anything. If they are all same, then for first come first serve, I am talking about first come first serve only, then for first come first serve, we will proceed as the processes are given in the order. That means if there is no order field, then also we will follow P1 has come first, then P2, then P3. Then also we will consider this order. Okay. So what I want to say is that this order field will be omitted in most of the cases. Rest of the field will be there. So then also for FCFS, we will consider P1 has come first, then P2, then P3. If the arrival time are all same. Okay, so that is my point. So here, as P1 has come first and its duration is 24, that means this duration is actually indicating the CPU burst time. This duration is actually indicating CPU burst time or processor time or service time, whatever you can say. So the CPU burst time is here for P1 is 24. So P1 will start from 0 and it will run up to 24. time unit. Next P2, its bus time is 3, so it will be added 24 plus 3, so 27. And then P3, its bus time is 4, so it will be 27 plus 4, so 31. So we will ultimately reach to 31 at the end of P3. So if I want to calculate the turnaround time, so I can get it from this chart, which is actually known as NAT chart. GNA এখানে বানানটা ভুল আছে, GNA হবে, NAT chart the spelling is GNA not GAN it is GNA NAT chart, এখানে স্পেলিংটা ভুল আছে। So NAT chart, সেই NAT chart আমরা ফার্স্টে এরকম ধরনের অঙ্ক করতে গেলে ফার্স্টে you will draw the NAT chart which will give you the clear idea about your sum. So here if I want to calculate the turnaround time for process P1, so completion time for process P1 from the NAT chart you can understand it is 24, and arrival time for process P1 is 0, which is given in the question paper. So turnaround time for process P1 is clearly 24. In the same way, turnaround time for process P2 will be 27, because process P2 has finished at time unit 27, because up to 24 P1 has run, then P2, and P2 has taken, P2's bus time was 3, so it will run up to 27, because 24 plus 3 will be 27. So 27 minus 0, that is again 27. Then P3, so as P3 has bus time 4 and P3 has started to run from 27, so 27 plus 4 it will be finished at 31 time unit. So completion time is 31, arrival time is again 0, so it will be 31. And so in that same way, the average turnaround time rather will be summation of these 3 by 3, as there are 3 processes, so it will be 20.5. So this is for turnaround time of this sum. Next, the waiting time. Now as I told you, waiting time, the formula is turnaround time minus burst time. So turnaround time for process P1 is 24. Burst time for process P1 is also 24, because I told you that burst time and duration is same basically. So burst time is also 24, so 24 minus 24, so P1's waiting time will be 0, and that you can verify from the NAT chart. At the very beginning, NAT P1 has started, so P1 has started from 0, so as P1 has started from 0 and it was arrived at time 0, so P1 has not, it has not wait for anybody, so P1's waiting time will be 0 rightly. Next is P2. Turnaround time for P2 is 27 and duration of P2 is 3. So 27 minus 3, so it will be 24. So P2 has waited for the 24 time unit to get CPU, and from NAT chart also you can verify, because up to 24 P1 was there in the CPU, then P2 has started. So P2 had started at 24th. So P2 has waited up to 24. Next is P3. The waiting time for P3. So turnaround time for P3 is 31 and burst time for P3 is 4. So 31 minus 4, that will be 27. And you can verify the same from the NAT chart. So in that way, we will get the waiting time, and we can make the average of it again as we did in turnaround time. It for turnaround time. So that will be again, here it will be 17. So this was our first sum, first example of FCFS, what we have already seen in the last class. Next, I have told you to solve this one, where again there are 3 processes. Their arrival time this time is not same. Their arrival time is different this time. Burst time is given, and this time is given in the time unit millisecond, ms. So whatever time unit will be specified in the question paper, we will specify the same time unit in the answer. So there is nothing much think about it. Nothing you have to think. You don't have to think anything. Whatever, if it is second, we will mention second. If it is millisecond, we will mention millisecond. Whatever will be the unit given in the question paper, the same unit you will use in the answer. Now here the difference is previously all the processes has arrived at the same time unit. Here the process has arrived, process P0 has arrived at time 0, process 1 has arrived at time 1 and process P2 has arrived at time 2. Now I hope that you all have able to solve this. আমি সেই ইয়েতে আর কি কোশ্চেন আমি অ্যানসারটা সলভ করে পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছিলাম সকালবেলা, so that you can verify, because I thought that everybody has solved it already. It was very simple question. So let us see the solve. যদি কেউ বুঝতে না পেরে থাকো তার জন্য একবার আমি বলে দিই। সেটা হলো এই যে আমরা দেখেছি যে P0 has arrived at time 0 and P0's bus time is 9. So obviously P0 will get the CPU first and P0 will run up to 9 time unit. So P0 has started from 0 and it has run up to 9 time unit, 9 millisecond you can specify. Next P1, now P1 its arrival time was 1, so obviously P1 will run after that and P1's bus time is 4, so 9 plus 4 it will be 13, and then P2 its arrival time is 2 and bus time is 9 again, so P2 will run up to 13 plus 9, 22. So this will be the NAT chart. This is known as NAT chart, GNATT NAT chart, and this NAT chart will speak everything. Actually it will give you everything, every information. Now we have to calculate the turnaround time. Now turnaround time, as the formula is known as completion time minus arrival time. Now if you see in the question paper, P0's completion time, it is we have calculated from the NAT chart. You can say P0's completion time is 9 and P0's arrival time was 0, that was mentioned in the question paper, so it will be 9. Then P1, now P1's completion time is 13, you can get it from the NAT chart, and P1's arrival time was 1. It was mentioned in the question paper that P1's arrival time was 1. So as P1's arrival time was 1, so it will be 13 minus 1, that will be 12 as per the formula, whatever that way. Next is P2. P2's completion time is 22 and arrival time is 2, so it will be 20. And now if you make the average of these three, so you will get 13.7. So you can say that the average turnaround time of this system will be 13.7 approximately, because if you calculate the average, it will be 13.6666 like that. So that's why approximately. Next is waiting time. Now the waiting time for these three processes, the formula is turnaround time minus bus time. Now here the process P0 turnaround time is 9, you can clearly see that, and bus time is also 9 because it was mentioned in the question paper. So waiting time will be 0, and you can verify that from the NAT chart. P0 has started from time 0, so it has not waited for any time unit, so its waiting time will be naturally 0. Now for P1, turnaround time is 12, we are getting it from the NAT chart, and bus time is 4, which is given in the question paper, so the waiting time will be 8. And P2's turnaround time is 20 minus its bus time is 9, which is given in the question paper, so it will be 11. So P2 has waited for 11 milliseconds to get the CPU, and that you can verify again from the NAT chart. Okay, that P2 has waited 11 millisecond time to get the CPU. So if you make the average of these three, again you will get an approximate 6.33 millisecond time unit, which is the average waiting time of this system. So up to this, it was our first come first serve, these two example.
স্যার
হ্যাঁ বলো।
স্যার বলছি যে একটা জিনিস বুঝতে পারছি না স্যার, আগেরটা যে নেট চার্টটা ছিল ওখানে ডিউরেশন টাইম যেগুলো ছিল সেগুলোই বসিয়ে দেওয়া হয়েছে, কিন্তু এখানে স্যার ওই 9, 13, 22 কেন হলো, মানে 9, 4, 9 কেন হলো না?
9, 4, 9 9, 4, 9 কেন হলো না মানে কোথায়, কোন জায়গায় 9, 4, 9 হওয়ার হলে ভালো হতো বলো।
মানে P0 তে 9, P1 এ 4 আর P2 তে 9 কেন হলো না?
কিসের ক্ষেত্রে, টার্ন অ্যারাউন্ড টাইম না ওয়েটিং টাইম?
ন্যাট চার্টের ক্ষেত্রে।
ন্যাট চ্যাটের ক্ষেত্রে। আচ্ছা, ন্যাট চ্যাটের ক্ষেত্রে আগের অঙ্কটায় কি ছিল ভালো করে দেখো। আগের অঙ্কটায় যেটা ছিল সেটা হলো P1 এর বাস টাইম ছিল 24, P2 এর বাস টাইম ছিল 3, P3 এর বাস টাইম ছিল 4। তাহলে ন্যাট চার্টে এখানে আগের ছবিটায় ন্যাট চার্টে যেরকম ভাবে দেখানো হয়েছে সেটা হলো যে P1 এর 24 টাইম ইউনিট ডিউরেশন। তাহলে P1 যদি 0 থেকে শুরু হয় কত অবধি রান করবে? অ্যানসার মি। P1 যদি 0 থেকে কত অবধি? 24 অবধি। তাহলে এই যে এখানে যে এই যে অ্যাশ কালারের যে সিম্বলটা, এটা ইন্ডিকেট করছে সেই 24 টাইম ইউনিট। ঠিক আছে, তারপরে P2 24 থেকে শুরু হয়ে আরো 3 টাইম ইউনিট রান করবে। তাহলে P2 রান করবে 27 অবধি। এখানে এটা দেখায়নি, এখানে ছবিতে এটা দেখায়নি, এখানে ছবিতে কালার দিয়ে ইন্ডিকেট করেছে। ঠিক আছে, 27 অবধি রান করবে। P2 যখন শেষ হবে তারপর তার তলায় লেখা থাকবে 27, P1 যখন শেষ হবে তার তলায় লেখা থাকবে 24, P3 যখন শেষ হবে তার তলায় লেখা থাকবে 31। ঠিক আছে, এখানে ছবিটার কালার দিয়ে ইন্ডিকেট করেছে P1 24 অবধি রান করছে, P2 27 অবধি রান করছে, আর P3 31 অবধি রান করছে। কেন করছে সেটা কি বুঝতে পারছো?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ওটা বুঝেছি।
সো দ্যাট ইজ দ্য থিং। বাট তুমি যখন খাতায় করবে তখন তো তুমি 100টা কালার দিয়ে করতে পারবে না। তুমি যেটা করবে, ইউ উইল ফলো দিস প্যাটার্ন, হোয়াট আই হ্যাভ গিভেন ইউ, ইউ উইল ফলো দিস প্যাটার্ন। তুমি কি করবে, এখানে পরের অঙ্কটার ক্ষেত্রে দেখো P0 তার পাস টাইম 9, তাহলে P0 যদি 0 থেকে শুরু হয় তুমি ইন্ডিকেট করতে হবে, তুমি এটা লিখবে প্রথমটা 0, P0 0 থেকে শুরু হচ্ছে, 9 যেহেতু বাস টাইম তাহলে আপ টু 9 টাইম ইউনিট রান করছে। তারপর P1 9 থেকে শুরু হচ্ছে এবং P1 এর বাস টাইম 4, তাই 9 + 4 13 অবধি রান করছে। তুমি ঠিক এরকম ভাবে লিখবে খাতায় যখন অঙ্ক করবে। তারপর P2 কি করছে, P2 তার বাস টাইম 9 এগেইন, তাহলে P2 এর ক্ষেত্রে কি হবে? P2 এর ক্ষেত্রে 13 + 9, it will be 22. So you will represent it like that. You will not represent it like in the first example. That was an example to make you understand. Now how we have to represent the sum, you will just follow this approach. For any case, you will just follow this approach. You have to first draw the mat chart in this way, and then you have to calculate the turnaround time and waiting time. Got it?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Okay. Do you have any more doubt? আর কিছু ডাউট আছে? বুঝতে পেরেছো কেন এখানে রিপ্রেজেন্টেশনটা আমরা ওখানে মেনশন করিনি আগেরটা, কিন্তু খাতায় যখন আমরা করব তখন আমরা ঠিক আমি যেরকম ভাবে তোমাকে করে পাঠিয়েছি আজকে, আমি এই কারণেই এটা করে দিয়েছি, সো দ্যাট ইউ ক্যান আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড যে কিভাবে জিনিসটা করতে হবে, রিপ্রেজেন্টেশনটা কিভাবে হবে, তোমাকে ঠিক এরকম ভাবে রিপ্রেজেন্ট করতে হবে। ঠিক আছে, বোঝা গেল?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Okay. So next example, another example. This is the last example of FCFS. FCFS এর example আমি আর দেখাবো না এরপর। So this is the last example of FCFS. Here we have 5 processes. And corresponding bus time is given with their arrival time. You see, with their arrival time is given. Now, as per the arrival time, look at the arrival timing. Here P1 has not arrived at the time 0. Here P1 has not arrived at the time 0. Which process has arrived at time 0? Process P4. So we have to start with process P4, not with process P1. So remember this thing. You have to see the arrival time. It is not necessary that process P1 will arrive at time 0. No. It may not be. So here process P4 has arrived at time 0. So you will start with process P4. So P4 has started from process P0, time 0, and its bus time is 3, so it will run up to 3. So 0 to 3, process P4. Then P3's bus time is 8. So 3 + 8, it will be 11. Now why I have chosen P3? Because after P4, we look, process P3 has arrived, because arrival time of process P4 is 0, P3 is 1. Okay. Next is process P1 has, because Arrival time of process P1 is 2. So process P1. So process P1, its if you see its burst time is 6. So 11 plus 6, it will be 17, right? Next, after that, you see the arrival time of process P5 is 4. Here 3 is missing, no 3. So at time instant 3, there no process has arrived. It may happen, no problem. So after 2, we will go to 4 as per given to us, as per given it is in question. So it is not, you don't think that the question is wrong. Process at time unit 3 there should be some process. Why? No, at time unit 3 no process has arrived. It may happen. So we will directly go to arrival time 4 and we will found that process P5 is there. So what we will do? Process P5's arrival time is 4, burst time is 4. So 17 plus 4, it will be 21. And then finally process P2, because process P2's arrival time is 5. So 21 plus it is 3. So 21 plus 3 it will be এটা তাহলে একটা ভুল আছে 21 অবধি যদি হয় 21 এর সঙ্গে যদি 3 আমরা যোগ করি it should be 24. It will not be 23, it will be 24. Okay, process P2 তার বাস টাইম যদি 3 হয় তাহলে it will be 24. আইদার বাস টাইমটা ভুল আছে অথবা ন্যাচারটা ভুল আছে, যে কোনো একটা ভুল আছে, হোয়াট এভার মে বি দ্য থিং। আমরা জাস্ট প্রসিডিউরটা ফলো করি, you just calculate it your own way, you just calculate it yourself. Okay, so you just give me the turnaround time and the waiting time for each and every process. Just correction, make it correction that process P2 it will be finished at time unit 24, because process P2's bus time is 3 given here. So as per the bus time 3, it will be 24. And with that assumption, just calculate the turnaround time for each and every process and tell me. Just do it and tell me.
17 আর লাস্টেরটা হবে 19.
Okay, so what you are saying that তুমি বলছো লাস্টেরটা বলতে P5, right? P5
না স্যার, আমি নেট চ্যাট অনুযায়ী বললাম।
তুমি নেট চ্যাট অনুযায়ী বলেছো, তুমি নেট চ্যাট অনুযায়ী বলেছো। P2 টা, আচ্ছা P4 টা তাহলে হবে P4 কমপ্লিশন টাইম 3। হ্যাঁ, P4 এর কমপ্লিশন টাইম 3 আর অ্যারাইভাল টাইম যেহেতু 0 তাহলে 3। ভেরি গুড। P3 টা হবে তাহলে কমপ্লিশন টাইম 11, অ্যারাইভাল টাইম যেহেতু P3 এর 1 তাহলে it will be 10। ভেরি নাইস। P1 হবে 17 minus 2 15, P5 হবে 21 minus 4, so 21 minus 4 it will be 17, right? And P2 it will be 24 minus 5, right? So whatever it will be, that thing. Now in the same way you will calculate the waiting time. You can calculate the waiting time. Now the formula for waiting time is, again, the formula for waiting time, you know that turnaround time minus burst time. Okay, the formula for waiting time is turnaround time minus burst time. The formula for waiting time, another formula could be for the waiting time, another formula of the waiting time could be start time minus arrival time. So whatever formula you want to remember or you want to understand, you can either follow turnaround time minus burst time, or you can follow start time minus arrival time. Both will give you waiting time. So this is another formula of the waiting time to calculate waiting time, that is start time minus arrival time. Now sometimes this formula will be useful, sometimes that formula will be useful, but both will give you waiting time. No problem, you can follow only one either, or you can follow both. You can follow both means I can remember both the formulas. So here, as per the start time minus arrival time formula for the waiting time, you will get this waiting time. That is, start time of the P4 was 0 and arrival time of the P4 was also 0, so it is 0. Now start time of the P3 was 3, arrival time of the P3 was 1, so it is 3 minus 1. So like that you have calculated start time minus arrival time, that is also giving you the waiting time. Okay, or the other one, that is also same. Actually, both are same. We are just representing it in different way mathematically, but otherwise it is same. Okay, and in that way we will calculate the average waiting time for this sum, and we will get this waiting time is average waiting time will be 8. So that is the solve of this particular problem. Hope you have understood this problem. So that is basically the FCFS. Now FCFS has some advantages and has some disadvantages. In last class I have also told you that FCFS, the biggest disadvantage of FCFS is that it will gives you convoy effect. The disadvantage of FCFS is that it gives you convoy effect. Convoy effect means if some large process is executing in the CPU and there are some small processes are waiting in the ready queue, then those small processes will be in the ready queue until and unless that last large process is finished. So that is basically known as, that effect is basically known as convoy effect. So that is the biggest disadvantage of FCFS. And if you see the advantage, it is very easy to understand. Simplest CPU scheduling algorithm. That's all actually about the FCFS. So now let's come to the next session. In the next session, we will discuss about another very interesting CPU scheduling algorithm, which is known as shortest job first algorithm. Shortest job first algorithm. Because FCFS it is from our previous class. আমরা আগের দিনই FCFS দেখেছিলাম। সো আশা করি FCFS নিয়ে আর কারোর কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, যদি থাকে তাহলে সেটা আমরা নেক্সট ক্লাসে আলোচনা করব। আর তারপরে আমরা শর্টেস্ট জব ফার্স্ট অ্যালগরিদমটা নিয়ে একটু আলোচনা করব in the next session. Okay, so come and join in the next session. I'm just ending this session because we don't have much time left, only few seconds are left. So come to the next